gluconeogenesis. In carbohydrate metabolism, gluconeogenesis is one of the important pathways. This pathway means formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources. By definition, gluconeogenesis is the formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources like lactate, pyruvate, glycerol, some glucogenic amino acids, propionate in ruminant only. The functions of gluconeogenesis we can list as the important function is glucogenesis supplies the body with glucose. Gluconeogenesis clears the blood from the waste products of other tissues and metabolic pathways such as lactate produced by muscles and RBC. Other important function of gluconeogenesis is to supply glucose. Glucose is only source of energy for nervous tissues, RBCs and skeletal muscles when during their exercise. Glucose is the precursor of milk, sugar, lactose in mammary gland. Also, glucose is important during low carbohydrate diet or when liver glycogen is depleted. Liver glycogen is depleted after 12 to 18 hours. This pathway, gluconeogenesis, it is located inside the cell. Intracellular location is cytosol and mitochondria. Whereas if you look at the organs involved in gluconeogenesis, they are mostly liver and kidney. Few steps of gluconeogenesis are mainly the reversal of glycolysis, except for three steps requiring conversion of fructose 1,6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. Number 2, conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. And number 3, conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. These 3 steps are called as irreversible steps catalyzed by kinases. So these are called as irreversible kinases, which are replaced by following enzymes. So the on the left side, the 3 kinases are given here, and on the right side, how they are replaced by other enzymes. The first kinase is glucokinase. Glucokinase in the glycolytic pathway, and the same enzyme is replaced in gluconeogenesis by glucose 6-phosphatase. In glycolysis, second enzyme is phosphofructokinase. In gluconeogenesis, that is replaced by fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. The third enzyme in glycolysis, or the third irreversible enzyme of glycolysis, is pyruvate kinase. Pyruvate kinase is replaced by 2 enzymes, pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. Now let us take the examples of these irreversible reactions. Conversion of 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme fructose 1,6-biphosphatase. Fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase converts fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate, liberating inorganic phosphate. Second example is of conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. This reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme glucose 6-phosphatase. Glucose 6-phosphatase acts on glucose 6-phosphate to liberate phosphate and produce free glucose. Third example is of conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. This conversion is done by dicarboxylic acid shuttle and needs two enzymes. The number one enzyme is pyruvate carboxylase present in mitochondria. It will catalyze conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate, and second enzyme is phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase present in the cytosol, which will convert the oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. Third example is conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. Pyruvate should pass first from cytosol to mitochondria by special transporters. Pyruvate is then converted into oxaloacetate by pyruvate carboxylase in the presence of biotin, carbon dioxide, and ATP. The mitochondrial membrane is impermeable to oxaloacetate. So, oxaloacetate is converted to malate by malate dehydrogenase. Malate so formed is transported to cytosol where it is converted again into oxaloacetate by cytosolic malate dehydrogenase. The peculiarity of this enzyme is its cofactor is NADP in place of NAD. Oxaloacetate is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate by phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. This enzyme, that is PEPCK, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, pyruvate never goes into the course of citric acid pathway. That is, it will not from glycolysis. Pyruvate is formed, and this pyruvate has got two directions. One, it can go to formation of acetyl CoA, or other it can go to malate, but it never goes to malate. It is because this pathway needs insulin and other factors which are deficient during gluconeogenesis. Third part is pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate, the diagrammatic representation of this pathway. See, looking on the left side, pyruvate is acted upon by an enzyme, pyruvate carboxylase, which requires biotin as a cofactor, and ATP is required for energy, and carbon dioxide is condensed with pyruvate to form oxaloacetate. So form oxaloacetate in the second step is acted upon by malate dehydrogenase. Malate dehydrogenase will convert oxaloacetate to malate by simultaneous conversion of NAD to NADH. This malate is capable of getting transported through the mitochondrial membrane. So it will be transported to cytosol through the mitochondrial membrane, and this malate brought, look at the right side, the malate brought from the mitochondria is then acted upon by the enzyme malate dehydrogenase, which requires cofactor NAD. That NAD is converted to NADH, and malate is converted into oxaloacetate. So this is regeneration of malate. The malate of the mitochondria is first converted into the oxaloacetate of the mitochondria is converted into malate first in mitochondria, transported to cytosol, brought in the cytosol as a malate, This malate is converted back into oxaloacetate. Once this oxaloacetate is formed in cytosol, then it is acted upon by the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. This phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase will require GTP as one of the cofactor, or GTP is the energy is received from GTP, which will be hydrolyzed to GTP plus PI. Carbon dioxide is assimilated and a new compound called as phosphoenol pyruvate is formed. This is how the irreversibility of the reaction, that is, pyruvate cannot be converted into phosphoenol pyruvate in the normal route of glycolysis. This is replaced by these two enzymes, thereby pyruvate is converted into oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate is then converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. Next is the diagram showing us the similarities between glycolysis and gluconeogenesis. In glycolysis, glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, and fructose 6-phosphate. Fructose 6-phosphate is then converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, 3-phosphoglycerate, 2-phosphoglycerate, and like that. This is happening with in glycolysis. These 3-phosphoglycerates to form, this is then converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate is converted into is acted and converted into oxaloacetate. That oxaloacetate is brought from the mitochondria to cytosol as malate. Already discussed this part, that oxaloacetate to form is then acted upon by PEPCK, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, converting into phosphoenol pyruvate. So this is what is happening with glycolysis in mitochondria and with gluconeogenesis in mitochondria. The other part of that glycolysis is that when fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, simultaneously a molecule of dihydroxyacetone is formed that will be converted into glyceraldehyde phosphate, and then this is all. This pathway is called as major pathway of gluconeogenesis. That we can start that major pathway from pyruvate. Pyruvate is the first converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate is then converted into pyruvate, then return back to phosphoenol pyruvate to 2-phosphoglycerate, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, phosphoglycerate. Like that, it will get converted to glyceraldehyde phosphate, and that will form dihydroxyacetone phosphate that will condense to give fructose 1,6-phosphate. This is the common pathway of gluconeogenesis. This fructose 1,6-bisphosphate form will be converted into fructose 6-phosphate, then will be into glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate will be acted upon by a special enzyme converting it into glucose. This is called as common pathway. So I can enlist the reactions like pyruvate, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, then 2-phosphoglycerate, 3-phosphoglycerate, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate that condense to form fructose 1,6-bisphosphate that will be converted into fructose 6-phosphate. Fructose 6-phosphate will give rise to glucose 6-phosphate, then to glucose. So in this reaction, we find as compared to glycolysis, there are 3 steps which are irreversible, which are managed by the separate enzymes called as gluconeogenic enzymes. Pyruvate carboxylase, PEPCK, glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, and glucose 6-phosphatase. These are the enzymes which are replaced in glycolysis. From glycolysis, to gluconeogenesis. So this is called as common pathway. So how pyruvate is converted into glucose. There are other compounds other than pyruvate which can be converted into glucose. Those compounds are, we can give example of amino acid, glucogenic amino acid, in that alpha ketoglutarate, aspartate, adenine, all these are glucogenic amino acids. They can be converted into glucose. They adopt the main common pathway. Second type of compound is glycerol and propenyl CoA from fatty acid group. Propenyl CoA can be converted into glucose, and the glycerol can be converted into glycerol. Glycerol can be converted into glucose. So those pathways we will discuss. Here are the reactions of different sources of gluconeogenesis. Sources we mean glycogenesis from lactate, glycogenesis from glutamate, glycogenesis from propionate, glycogenesis from glycerol. So this figure gives the common approach of converting these molecules into glucose. Let me take the examples of the amino acid like aspartate. Aspartate is first converted into oxaloacetate by deamination, transamination. And this aspartate, oxaloacetate, is then converted to pyruvate. Pyruvate enters into the main pathway and gets converted into glucose. Second amino acid example I can take of glutamate. Glutamate is converted into alpha-ketoglutarate. Alpha-ketoglutarate is then converted into succinyl CoA, fumarate, malate, then to oxaloacetate, which enters the common pathway to form glucose. Like that, propenyl CoA, a fatty acid derivative, is first converted into, you can look at here, that propenyl CoA is converted into D-methylmalonyl-CoA. That D-methylmalonyl-CoA is then converted into L-methylmalonyl-CoA. L-methylmalonyl-CoA is then converted into succinyl CoA, and succinyl CoA is converted into oxaloacetate, entering into the main common pathway. Glycerol is converted into first glycerophosphate, then dihydroxyacetone phosphate. That dihydroxyacetone phosphate is then converted into 1,3-glycerate, entering into the main common pathway, getting converted into glucose. So it happens with pyruvate, it happens with aspartate, it happens with propenyl CoA, it happens with the glycerol molecule, which are converted into gluconeogenesis. These are the other molecules which are converted into gluconeogenesis. Here again it is a type of revision, that lactate is converted into glucose. Lactate is first converted into pyruvate by enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. Pyruvate once formed joins the common pathway for gluconeogenesis and gets converted into glucose. Gluconeogenesis from glutamate. Glutamate is converted into alpha-ketoglutarate by transamination reaction. Then alpha-ketoglutarate is converted into malate as follows. Alpha-ketoglutarate is converted into succinyl CoA. Succinyl CoA is into fumarate. Fumarate is converted into malate. You may remember these are the reactions from citric acid cycle pathway. Malate then passes out the mitochondria and joins the common pathway of gluconeogenesis. So another example is of propanate, which I have just mentioned, that gluconeogenesis from propionic acid. This occurs only in the ruminant and not in human. Propionic acid is converted into succinyl CoA. Succinyl CoA is then converted into malate. Succinyl CoA, after getting converted into malate through fumarate, passes out the mitochondria and joins common pathway to form a glucose molecule. So this is how a propionic acid is converted into glucose. On the right side of this slide, you have got the reactions that propionic acid is converted into propionyl CoA. Propionyl CoA is then carboxylated to give methylmalonyl CoA. This methylmalonyl CoA is then converted into succinyl CoA. Succinyl CoA enters the main glucogenic pathway. Gluconeogenesis from glycerol. See, from fat, only two molecules can enter into the gluconeogenesis. No fatty acid other than propionyl CoA can be converted into glucose. And glycerol is the only part of lipid which can be converted into glucose. Otherwise, lipids are not converted into glucose, except with these two exceptions. So here, how glycerol is converted into glucose? Glycerol is mobilized from adipose tissue during fasting after the hydrolysis of triglyceride. Two molecules of glycerol are used to form glucose. So on the right hand side you can see the diagram. Glycerol is converted into glycerol 1-phosphate, which is then converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate. This dihydroxyacetone phosphate plus glycerol phosphate, they form fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which is converted into fructose 6-phosphate, then glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate is converted into glucose. This is how the conversion of a fatty acid propionate occurs in our body into glucose. Now, we have completed the two set. How gluconeogenesis occurs by common pathway. That is how pyruvate is converted into glucose. Then second part what we have discussed is other than pyruvate, other molecules like amino acid aspartate and glutamate, like fatty acid propionate, like glycerol, they are converted into glucose. Now we will see how much energy we have to put to convert to form a glucose molecule. So this is energy cost of gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is an endergonic process, that is energy consuming process. For conversion of two molecules of pyruvate to one molecule of glucose, 4 molecules of ATP, 2 molecules of GTP, and 2 molecules of NADH are utilized. This utilization is shown here, that ATP and GTP, they are required when pyruvate is converted into oxaloacetate. 2 molecules of pyruvate are converted into 2 molecules of oxaloacetate. 2 ATP are used. Oxaloacetate is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate with consumption of 1 molecule of GTP. So in total, 2 oxaloacetate molecules are converted into 2 phosphoenol pyruvate molecules, taking 2 GTP molecules. Like that, 3-phosphoglycerate is converted into 1,3-diphosphoglycerate, converting ATP into ADP. So like 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate, they will take away 2 molecules of ATP to get converted into 2 molecules of 1,3-diphosphoglycerate. With respect to NADH, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate molecules are converted into 2 glyceraldehyde molecules, thereby consuming 2 NADH molecules. This is the energy concept of glucose. What we have discussed was how much energy is being consumed during formation of a glucose from a non-carbohydrate molecule. Now, the last part of this is regulation of gluconeogenesis. How gluconeogenesis is regulated. So here it is shown that there are two patterns of regulation. One is hormonal regulation, another one A, and the other one is acetyl CoA and ATP regulation. In hormonal regulation, the prominent hormones which regulate gluconeogenesis are glucocorticoids and glucagon, and added to that is insulin. Whereas the second part of regulation, B, acetyl CoA and ATP are used for regulation. So let us see the first part, how hormonal regulation takes place. Glucocorticoids, example cortisol, stimulates gluconeogenesis by the formation of my, by the formation by the following mechanism. A. The induce stimulate, that is this cortisol, they stimulate the synthesis of gluconeogenesis enzyme, which are pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. Fructose 1,6 bisphosphatase and glucose 6 phosphatase. The quantity of this enzyme is increased by induced synthesis, that is caused by the enzyme, the hormone glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoid will increase the amount of this enzyme, and amount of the enzyme will cause increase in the formation of glucose. This is how glucocorticoids regulate the gluconeogenesis. Second part is glucocorticoid, they also stimulate protein catabolism by tissue and resulting in glycogenesis. Glycogenic amino acids are available for gluconeogenesis. That is, glucocorticoids, they will catabolize the protein, resulting into liberation of glucogenic amino acids, and these glucogenic amino acids are the substrate for the formation of glucose. Glucogen, glucagon is one hormone, stimulates gluconeogenesis by lowering the low level of first fructose 2,6 bisphosphate, that has got a inhibitory effect. 2,6 bisphosphate has an inhibitory effect on gluconeogenesis. That level is decreased by glucagon. Insulin inhibits gluconeogenesis. It acts as a repulsor inhibitor for the synthesis of enzymes required for gluconeogenesis, that is required for gluconeogenesis, pyruvate carboxylase, etc. So the reaction which are stimulated by glucocorticoids, that is increase in the quantity of gluconeogenic enzymes, are opposed. Here insulin will inhibit the synthesis of enzymes catalyzing gluconeogenesis. The second part of regulation is how gluconeogenesis is regulated by acetyl-CoA and ATP. Acetyl-CoA and ATP stimulate gluconeogenesis by inhibiting glycolysis through inhibition of phosphofructokinase. So these two compounds, they inhibit glycolysis, that results into stimulation of gluconeogenesis. Stimulate gluconeogenesis by stimulating the fructose 1,6 bisphosphatase. Acetyl-CoA also stimulates pyruvate gluconeogenesis and inhibits pyruvate oxidation. This is how we have tried to have a fast revision of the chapter gluconeogenesis. And in point to be remembered is gluconeogenesis occurs when there is fasting level. When the body is fasting, then the enzymes of gluconeogenesis, they are increased, and when the body is well fed, in that condition these enzymes are inactive and gluconeogenesis will be slowed down. Thank you.